Hello, welcome back. This is DK, who was supposed to be a Gunpla hobbyist, but had to put a pause on it for a while until I get my house ready, my room ready, my station ready. So my aunt, uncle, my wife, we're all trying to put some grass back into our backyard because the septic field replacement took everything with it. Oh well. Let's get back to our cabinet build. So, I'm not sure if you remember, but I cut all the pieces for the drawers last time. Like sidewall, back and front, and a bottom panel that goes into the drawers. In total, I need about 33 drawers, some similar, some different size. It gets big as about 36 inches width, and it also has a smaller one that only goes 12 inches. And I decided to use the Craig's pocket jig system to do this because this method does not really require clamps. And I only have limited amount of clamps, the long ones, but I have to make 33 drawers. That means I might be able to make like maybe 3-4 a day when I have to make 30 of them, more than 30 of them. So if I use this pocket screw system, which don't need the clamp for it, I can just keep making until I hit that 33 count. And again, this is my first time making a drawer for cabinet, so I'm just, hesitating to do anything because I'm not used to anything yet. But I'm doing it anyway. We'll see how it goes. I'm basically making a pocket holes on the front of the drawer and the back of the drawer. The back, no one will ever see the back of the drawer, and you'll never see the front side because I'll be putting a finished shaker frame style later. You'll get to see this issue later, but I have the front panel longer, higher than the back side because my drawers will be attached with the Blum's undermount system. And undermount requires a little 1-inch notch in the back, but I decided to make the whole back panel just 1 inch shorter than the front, so I don't need to worry about the little notches. So I basically had to line up the front pocket holes to rear pocket holes so they kind of balance. Now I'm putting a 1/2-inch metal block into the groove of the where bottom panel will be, and hoping everything will be squared when I put together everything later. This was a constant battle. I'm just doing repeating work over and over and over. I wish I practiced with just 1 or 2 cabinets first, but I decided to just do the whole 40, Here, I made everything. And I think I lied on my last video that I spent 6,000. Guess what? I spent another 550, 600 on this sander because sanding causes a lot of dust, and this one was really good and it didn't make any dust, and it was worth it. And before I started on my project, I wanted to test the sanders I had just quickly, see how better they are, how quiet they are. To be honest, I think all 3 did pretty decent job, but the Festool ECS 150-5 was the least vibrating one. It was ergonomic to hold, it was lower profile than the other two. I really liked it. Another cool part was, since this is a 6-inch diameter, 150 meaning 150 millimeter 6-inch kinda, and other two were 5 inches, that 1 inch makes a huge difference. It was sanding much quicker than the other two. I think I can almost sand all day with this one. Other one, I sanded for like 2-3 hours to a sofa unit that I made before. My hands were vibrating after. And look, I'm sanding basically like full 6 panel, and I'm already done. And I decided to make a little investment on the Cyclone bucket system because the stuff about making, routing, sanding, it was taking so much particle or dust from the wood, and my dust bag was going out of business every other day. So this should help me with the dust bag issue, because what this does is it will try to trap all the bigger ones, the heavier ones, and make them fall right into the bucket, and the vacuum itself should be only taking the little fine dusts. And even the fine dusts, they should fall if they're not super light. So in theory, all those super fine dust, they should be sucked into the vacuum or extractor, and everything else like these should fall into the bucket so I can just toss it later. And it was kind of working. Maybe one day I'll have like a full shop bag around the garage or something, but for now, this should do the trick. Now, before I put together everything, I'm double checking the dimensions of the under mount drawer slides versus every cut I made. I don't want to make 33 drawers and find out that I made them ½ inch too large or ½ inch too short, so they don't fit in the cabinet boxes anymore. So I'm just being cautious, measuring twice, 3 times, and double checking my calculations before I go. And I wasn't gonna do this, but I was really having a hard time trying to square everything. So I decided to get some help of Domino's, which I never used again, but I bought it anyway. But I think this Domino really saved me making the drawer boxes, because this one was my first box. I was having super tough time making them perpendicular to each pieces, but this Domino really saved my day. In the beginning, since it's my first time using the Domino, it was a little tricky, because it's really accurate tool, but I didn't know how to use them. But after getting used to it a few times, like how to put accurate on the left versus how to put accurate on the right, aligning top and bottom, thicker side, short side, I got used to it after a few rounds. So when I was planning, the main holding element would be glue, and I'll be pocket drilling to make them to hold each other without using a wood clamp. But now the domino dowels, the dominoes are holding element where they hold perpendicular to each other, and I'm basically putting a wood glue to make them permanent, and the pocket screws will be just acting as a clamp, since I don't have 244 clamp that will hold 33 drawer at once. That was just made up number. When the drawers were like 6-7 inches high, I had no issue, but when they were like only 3-4 inches high, I had a little issue because the dominoes were getting too close. But I figured that out. Domino is fun and accurate tool. I probably couldn't have finished making 33 drawers without the help of dominoes. It looks tedious, but it was worth it. It made the job so easy. And after making all the domino holes, I thought I was ready. Obviously I wasn't. I made a mistake, and I made the bottom panel cut too accurate. Like, it's accurate on one side, so it will slide here, but I made the other side like 1/16 of an inch wider. I guess this is a better mistake than making the piece too short. Anyway, I ended up trimming most of the bottom panel, about 16ths or 3/32. And after that, I just got back to assembling the whole thing, and it was pretty smooth right after that. And I'm not sure if you're noticing this, but on some panels, you see more than 4 pocket holes. Some you see 5, some you see 6. That happened because I mistakenly put an extra hole on the wrong place. So I had to drill a correct one. But that's okay because they will be either on the front or the rear, which you will never get to see it when you actually use the cabinets. Since now most of the drawer making is done, now I'm testing out the actual mount, and this jig is to make some pre-drill holes for the necessary mount that I'm using. Again, if I'm making only one or two drawers, one or two cabinets, I probably could have just measured each drawer and put a hole on each side, but I'm making 33. This basically makes a little hole in the back, left and right side, and two smaller holes in the front for the little hook to be attached. Making all that little holes with rulers on 33 drawers, I don't even want to think about it. And this is how they slide in. It just slides in and click. Such a satisfying clicking. So I'm supposed to be able to control up, down, left, and right with this one slightly. And has a soft closing. Look at that. No matter how hard I push. I do have two special like slide out pantry, like one with the sauce, one with the, what do you call those, like spice racks next to the cooktops. But since this is a small unit, I can remake them later if I made a mistake. We'll see how it goes. Since now I know how they work, I have to put these pilot holes to every drawers I have. And one thing I've noticed is, you know, when you look at those professional woodworkers, they have multiple drill sets. I always wonder why would they need more than one drill, and this was the reason. I was kept switching the drill bit for the front and back because they had a different size. It was really uncomfortable, inconvenient. I actually bought this countersink bit to put some screws on every drawers that I was making, but most of the drawer bottom fitted like a perfect or tight fit. They weren't going anywhere. I'll add some like bread nail or something when they move in the future, so I decided not to put any screws. But for this 36-inch, the widest drawers that I have, they're still strong. They're not going anywhere, but I decided to put some countersunk screws down to hold it a little better. I'm just measuring the even length from left and right to put the countersink bits evenly. I didn't have to. I could have just eyeballed it, but whatever. And this is just a punching tool to give it a little hole to the whatever you're punching into, so the drill bit doesn't move or move away while I'm pushing it in. I think I'm saying this too much, but this is my first time with the countersink bit and a stopper, so I made this mistake. Went in a little too deep, pushed too hard. So it's supposed to be like this, flat against the piece. Not like this, but it's okay, it's on the bottom. Look at my fancy drawers all lined up. Not done. Now I have to coat these drawers because they will get wet, they will get splashed on because they are all in kitchen. There are cheaper coats, expensive coat, medium. I'm talking price, but this is on the expensiver side of it because my wife is really against toxic chemicals. And I'm not gonna say this is my wife, but this is my helper in an alien suit. I'm DK, so we'll call her JK. So initially we tried to spray paint these drawers. I got this one off of a TikTok shop. I think it was really cheap, like 30 bucks. Included shipping was like 36. I think that normally the size, the paint spray goes for around like 60 to near 100 bucks. But it was so cheap, I just wanted to give it a try. So JK is testing out how it works. It's her first time with the air spray. I mean, I sprayed my Gunplas with it, so I'm kind of familiar with it, how to ionize the little stuff. But she was having a hard time, so she ended up going back with the brush and roller, doing all this manually. But maybe it's the difference between Gunpla spray versus this paint spray. the spray was making little orange peel effect, like little bumpiness. It usually happens when you have more ink than water or the soluble whatever you're using, but I wasn't sure how I'm supposed to dilute this ink or paint. Do I use water? Do I use alcohol? Do I use mineral spirit? I didn't want to bother with that one, so I just decided to use the paintbrush and a roller. It ended up becoming a pretty good teamwork because I roughed in all the flat surface with roller, and JK went in with the brush to do some detail and finish off on boxes. So next day we are sanding because the paint we used is a water-based paint. So it kind of like roughened up the wood surface while it was drying. So when I felt it with my finger, I felt a little harsh, like roughness on top of it. So basically I'm sanding it lightly with 220 just on top, side, and whatever's inside that it can reach. And since I'm using the round sander, it will not reach the corner. That's where JK will step in with the manual block with the sand out the corners. Again, good teamwork. And I saw it somewhere you should be doing this like 2-3 times, like paint sand to make a really strong drawer that are waterproof. I'm just gonna do it twice. And now our master JK is dusting off all the drawers, getting ready for paint number 2. So after the next quote, I think I'll be officially done with the drawer part of the cabinet. I will be making the boxes for the actual cabinet next week. Cool. See ya.